If you want to show data on your WordPress website, then the most conventional way is by using tables. But we know how hard it is to do that with Gutenberg. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create some amazing looking data tables in Gutenberg. So we are going to use the data table block from the Plus add-ons for Gutenberg. And with that, we will be able to create tables like this one. Or maybe a complex table like this one where you want to showcase product features and you want to show the product image as well. Or maybe you have a long list of data you want to show that in form of a table. And along with that, you also want to have an option to sort this data. So you can do that with this sorting option. Or maybe you want to create some advanced structure by showing different tables in form of tabs. Or maybe if you have an e-commerce site or maybe an Amazon affiliate site and you want to showcase the list of products that you are selling or promoting, and you also want to add an add to cart button or a buy now button where you can use your affiliate link, then you can do that as well. Along with that, you can also add a search box right inside your table, and you can also add a filter like this one. So if that sounds interesting and you also want to learn how to create data tables using Gutenberg, then hop in and I'll show you everything step by step. My name is Ankit Sharma from the team Myth, and if you want to deep dive in the world of Gutenberg, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified about our 2 videos that we publish every week. With that said, let's dive in our WordPress backend and create our data tables. Here we are in our WordPress backend, and if we go in the plugin section, here we have the Plus add-ons for block editor free as well as the pro version. And once we install both of these plugins, we will get this option Plus settings. If we go on this and then click on Plus blocks, and here we will search for data table. So this is the data table block that we are going to use. So make sure you turn this on and then click on save. Once that is done, let's go ahead and create a page where we can add this data table. So we go to pages and then click on add new. Now first, let me show you the easiest way how you can create tables like we have here on our website. So once you visit this page of data table on plusblocks.com, we will leave a link in the video description below. If you scroll down, here you will find a lot of options that you can start with. Now let's say you want to add this table. So all you have to do is just use this copy button here. You will find this button along with all the tables like this one, or maybe this one, or this one. So you will find this button along with all the tables. Now in order to get this entire table in your WordPress website, click on this copy button here. Now come back in your page. Here you will find this plus paste option on the very top. Let's click here and boom, your data table is ready now. And once that is done, let's go ahead and see how it looks in the front end. So here is our data table, which is exactly like that we have copied from the plusblocks.com. Now you can come back here and on the right hand side, you will find all the details about this table. So you will be able to edit all the things here. And how you are going to edit all these details? Let's find out by creating a table from scratch. So let me just remove all this from here. And now we will create a table from the very beginning. And now we are going to add a new row. And we will choose a single column layout. And here we will search for TP data table. So this is the data table block. Let's click on this. And now we have our table added here with some sample data. Now before we proceed, let's go ahead and publish this page and open this in the front end as well. So this is how our table looks with the sample data, but let's go ahead and customize this a bit more. So now after adding this table, we can go to the layout section here, and the first option we see is the type. So here we have the standard type, which is this one, or maybe we can add a CSV file where we can add all the data in a CSV file and then load the data from the file inside our table here. So we are going to cover that in a few minutes, but we are going to cover that in the later part of this video. After this, we have an option for Google Sheet. So with that, you will be able to fetch data from your Google Drive Sheets. And for that, you need to enter the API key and various other details. And that is something that we are going to cover in a separate video. So stay tuned for that. And once the video is live, we will put that in the I button above and the video description below. And if you want to get notified about that video, make sure you hit the notification bell. So right now we will choose the standard one. And the next option is table header, that is this one. So if we open this, here we can see the content area. So this is how a row inside this table is created. So first we need to add a row, and under that we are going to add the columns that we want, or we can call them cell. So right now if I just go ahead and remove everything from here. Now in order to create our table header from scratch, we need to click on this cell. And then instead of cell content, we need to choose start a new row. So this will be set as a mark for starting of a new row. Once that is done, we just need to add a new content, and by default, it will be added as a new cell. Now let's go ahead and duplicate this one. Now we have the cell or the column number 2, and let's duplicate that one more time. So now we have the column number 3 or the cell number 3. And this is how every single row and column is created with this data table. So if we go ahead and click on the first cell, and for the cell content, if we scroll down a little bit, here we have an option for content. So right now we have the text value here. So maybe we can type in serial number ID, something like this. After this, we have an option for icon. So we can add an image or an icon before this. So if we choose icon and click on this wrench icon here, then we can assign any icon from this list. So maybe we can choose this icon here. And if you want, you can upload an image. So you can do that from here. So maybe if we choose this one, so this is how it's going to look. But I would prefer to choose icon, so we will stick with icon here. And after that we have advanced option. So here you can play around with the column span. So you can do that as per your requirement. And you can also add a row span or column width, color of the text. So you can do that from here. Or maybe you can add a background color as well. But this color and the background color will only affect this particular cell. In order to add a background color to this entire row, we need to choose the style option from here. That we are going to cover in a minute. So right now we just go ahead and reset this color and this background. But the option is available here just in case you want it. Alright, so let's close this cell. And now we can do the same for the next 2 cells or the columns. So we can edit the data something like this. So let's close this. And below our table header, we now have the main part of our table, that is table body. If we click here, now we can see all our content in form of row and cells. So now in order to add a new row below this, all we have to do is add content, mark this as a starting of a new row. So we'll click on start new row. And after this, we are ready to add new cells. So let's add content one more time. And let's add another one. So now we have a row, and under that we have 3 new cells. Now if I go ahead and add another cell, this is going to break our table structure. So you need to make sure that you maintain the number of cells in each row. But just in case you want to add another cell or another column, all you have to do is go back in each row and then add a new cell, something like this. And we need to do the same for our table header as well. So this is how we can add a complete new column here. Now again, we can go ahead and edit the content of all these cells. So we need to come back here in our table body and let's click on the first cell. Here we can see the content the text that we want to enter. Let's say one new cell. After that, we can also add a URL for this. So just in case you want to link this cell content to any page, you can do that from here. So right now, if I just enter a dummy link like this, so this is how it's going to look. Along with that, I can also add a button here, but that we are going to do for the last cell. So right now, if I go in the next tab, that is icon, we can again add icon or image for this table content as well. And if we go in the advanced section, here we can play around with the alignment, and then we can add column or row span, or even mark this cell as our table heading. But we don't want to do that here, so we will leave it as no. Now in the same way, we can add content for the next two cells, but let's move on to the last cell here. And instead of this text, let's go ahead and add a button. And here we can give the text something like this. And then we can add the URL for our button. If you want, you can add a custom attribute as well. So you can do that from here. And again, we can play around with the icon or image, or if we go in the advanced section, we can play around with the alignment. And now after doing all the data entry, we can now move on to the next step, that is style. And here, first, let's go ahead and style our heading here or the table header. We can play around with the text alignment. So let's keep it to the left. We can change the typography. So maybe you want to change the font family, weight, or font size. So you can do that from here. And we can also add some padding. And now here is the point where we can add our custom text color as well as our row background color. So maybe we want to give it a blue shade, something like this. And maybe we can add a white color here. After this, we have an apply border. So you can do that and add some border here. So this might be visible depending upon the color you choose. So right now we will turn this off. So this is how we can style the table header. Now we can scroll down a little bit and do the styling for table body. So again, we can play around with the text alignment. And here we can also change the vertical alignment. So that's how it's going to work. And after this, we can edit the typography and padding. And after that, we have the row text color. So here we have an option for stripped effect. So this will look something like this. So for strip 1, we will have this color. And for strip 2, maybe we can have a light blue color, something like this. So you can play around with these style here. Below that, we have an option for styling our button. So we can do that from here. So let's go ahead and add white text, background color. Maybe we can add something like this. Below that, we can give the border radius. Let's add a 10 pixel radius here. And after this, we have styling for icon or the images that we are using. So if we change the icon size here, you can see that the only icon that we have added in the table header is getting updated. So we will leave this to 20 pixel. We can change the position of icon before or after. And we can also increase or decrease the spacing from here. Below this, we have an option to style search bar. So let me show you how we can add the search bar here. For that, we need to come back in the layout. And now we need to go in the extra settings. And here we have the option for table searchable. So if we turn this on, we now have a search bar here. We can edit this text, something like this. And after this, we have table sortable option. So if you want to make this table as sortable, so you can do that as well. And after this, we have filter drop down. So if we turn this on, now we have a drop down for filtering our data. And after this, we have a very important option, that is responsive. So either we can choose a swipe option so that the visitor can swipe the data from left to right, or maybe we can choose one by one. With that, the row will get collapsed one below the other. So right now we will leave it on swipe, and then we will see how the one by one looks. So if we come back here in style, we can now do the styling for our search bar and all these stuff here. So you can change the icon color, label, and all the basic things that we have already covered. After this, we have background. So maybe you want to add a padding to the entire row. You can do that from here. And you can also add a complete background to your table like this. So with that, your strip colors will get override. So depending upon how you want to show your table, you can use this option. After this, we have display border. So this is how it's going to add border to the complete table. And we also have box shadow. And if we turn this on, this is how it's going to look. So let's go ahead and update this and see how it looks in the front end. So this is how our table looks in the front end. Here we have the filtering option, and on the right hand side we have the search option. So here if we search for term like new, so here we will see only one single row with all these three columns got the data with the text new. Or maybe if we just search for buy, so you can now see that it's also searching the text of button. And if we just search for #1, so now it shows only sample #1 data. Along with that, we can also sort this data. So let's say we want to sort based on the serial number ID. So right now it's in descending order. So here, if we click on this sorting icon here, now you see it starts with number 1 and then sample number 1. Now if we open this table in a mobile view, here how it looks. Now we can go ahead and swipe right or left to view the entire row. If we come back here in the backend and in the responsive options under extra setting, instead of swipe, we can choose one by one. Let's update this and now see how it looks in the mobile view. Now we don't have the swipe option. We have the row showing one below the other. So this is how we can add data manually in our table. Now let's see how we can create these data tables using CSV file. So for that, we again start with adding a row and then choose a single column and then add our data table block. And if we come back here in table type, instead of standard, we are going to choose CSV file this time. Now once again, we have some sample data here, which is getting fetched from our sample CSV file, which we have added here in this URL. Or most probably, you already have a CSV file ready, which you want to use to create your data table. And this file might look like this. Here in the first column, we have first name. On the second column, we have last name and then age and gender. Now if we save this file and then upload this in our media library, and let's copy the URL from here. And if we come back in our data table, let's paste the URL. And now it's showing our data, but it's not in a very good format. And if you take a closer look, here our data is separated by comma. And the reason for this is because by default, all the CSV files got comma as a delimiter, but we need to use semicolon in order to show the data properly. Now to fix this problem, we need to use an external tool, which is convertcsv.com. We will leave a link of this tool in the video description below. Now once we are here, we need to choose the second option to upload a file. Let's select our file from here. And after that, we need to go to step number 2. And here we have field separator. We will select comma, that is the second option. And then we just need to click on convert CSV to delimited. And if you look at the preview here, we can see that our data is now separated by semicolon. So now let's go ahead and download the results. And now let's upload this new CSV file, copy the URL. And now we will paste the URL again here. So now you see our data is showing properly here. And once we add this data using our CSV file, we can go ahead and do all the extra settings or styling as per our requirement. Now I hope with this data table blog, you will be able to create some amazing looking tables for your site. But just in case you think that there is a feature missing or you wish to have some feature in these table blocks or any other block in the Plus family, then you can go ahead and visit our roadmap page here. You can create a free account here and then use this feature request form. And by filling this simple form, you will be able to send your request, which will directly go to our developers, and they will be able to see what exactly you wish to have in these blocks. And we will try our level best to make your request live as soon as possible. So this is how easy it is to create data tables in Gutenberg. If you like this video, then make sure you share this with your friends and community on various social media platforms. And if you want to learn more about such amazing features of Plus add-ons, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we upload our next video. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video.